Fredric Jameson's seminal work, Postmodernism, or The Cultural Logic of Late Capitalism, 1991, offers a profound critique of the postmodern condition as a cultural and ideological phenomenon shaped by late capitalism. Grounded in Marxist theory and enriched by interdisciplinary insights, Jameson examines how cultural production, aesthetics, and societal structures are deeply intertwined with the economic system of late capitalism. This essay explores Jameson's key concepts, arguments, and implications in depth. Defining postmodernism. Jameson defines postmodernism as the cultural dominant of late capitalism. Unlike modernism, characterized by innovation and individual creativity, postmodernism reflects a departure from traditional forms, favoring pastiche, irony, and fragmentation. For Jameson, postmodernism is not a break from capitalism, but its culmination, a stage where culture and economics are inseparably fused. A defining characteristic of postmodernism is the loss of historical depth, which Jameson terms the waning of historicity. In postmodern culture, distinctions between past, present, and future blur, and historical references are reduced to surface aesthetics, devoid of contextual meaning. Retro styles and nostalgia, prevalent in cultural production, recycle historical forms without engaging their socio-political origins. The logic of late capitalism. Jameson aligns postmodernism with the economic conditions of late capitalism, a term borrowed from Ernest Mandel. Late capitalism signifies an advanced stage of capitalism characterized by globalization, multinational corporations, and financial market dominance. In this context, cultural production becomes commodified, and aesthetic forms are subordinated to the logic of capital. Jameson's major contribution is his analysis of how culture and economics interact in late capitalism. He contends that postmodern culture legitimizes late capitalism by normalizing consumerism, spectacle, and the commodification of daily life. Cultural products from films to architecture are no longer vehicles of individual creativity, but commodities shaped by market demands. Pastiche and parody. Jameson differentiates modernism and postmodernism through the concepts of pastiche and parody. Parody, central to modernism, critiques by imitating and exaggerating a style to reveal flaws or contradictions. In contrast, pastiche, the hallmark of postmodernism, is imitation without critical intent. Artists and creators borrow styles in postmodernism without questioning their historical or ideological significance. Postmodern architecture exemplifies pastiche with its eclecticism and lack of depth. Structures like Las Vegas casinos and postmodern skyscrapers mix historical and cultural references superficially. This depthlessness, as Jameson calls it, characterizes postmodern culture where meaning gives way to aesthetic surface. And the erosion of individuality. Jameson also discusses the erosion of individuality and subjectivity under postmodernism. Modernist art and literature often emphasized individual perspectives, critiquing societal norms. In postmodern culture, individuality is subsumed by consumerism and media logic. This results in what Jameson calls the fragmentation of the subject, where personal identity fragments and individuals are defined by consumption patterns and media representations. This fragmentation is evident in contemporary media, where individuals are reduced to social media avatars or profiles. Celebrity culture and reality television further exemplify this shift, commodifying personal narratives for mass consumption. The cultural turn in capitalism. Jameson highlights capitalism's shift from industrial to cultural production. In the postmodern era, culture itself becomes a commodity, with aesthetic experiences and lifestyles marketed to consumers. High and popular culture boundaries dissolve, both absorbed by market logic. An example is the rise of brand culture, with companies like Apple and Nike selling identities and experiences, not just products. Similarly, the entertainment industry prioritizes profitability over innovation in films, music, and video games. For Jameson, this cultural turn signifies culture's complete subsumption under capital. The role of media and technology. Jameson explores the role of media and technology in shaping postmodern culture, arguing that advancements in communication technologies, such as television, the internet, and social media, have transformed how people experience reality. These technologies mediate every aspect of life, creating a simulacrum where the distinction between reality and representation collapses. This idea is closely tied to Jean Baudrillard's theory of simulation, which Jameson critiques. While Baudrillard views the simulacrum as a complete break from reality, Jameson interprets it as a symptom of the deeper cultural and economic structures of late capitalism. The proliferation of virtual realities and digital media exemplifies the increasing commodification of human experience. Cognitive mapping. To navigate the complexities of postmodernism, Jameson proposes the concept of cognitive mapping. Drawing from Kevin Lynch's urban planning theories, cognitive mapping involves constructing mental representations of the social and economic structures that shape individual experience. For Jameson, cognitive mapping is crucial for fostering political consciousness to resist the disorienting effects of postmodernism. Cognitive mapping offers a counterbalance to the fragmentation and alienation characteristic of postmodern culture. By understanding the broader systemic forces, individuals can reclaim agency and solidarity. This concept is especially relevant in the era of globalization, where interconnected economies and cultures often obscure mechanisms of exploitation and inequality. Postmodernism and utopian possibilities. Despite his critique of postmodernism, Jameson acknowledges its potential for utopian possibilities. He notes that postmodern culture often contains impulses that reflect the potential for alternative futures. For instance, the focus on diversity and pluralism in postmodern art and literature can challenge traditional hierarchies and enable new modes of expression. However, Jameson warns that these utopian elements are frequently co-opted by late capitalism. The celebration of diversity, for example, can be commodified as a marketing strategy, with corporations exploiting cultural differences to appeal to niche markets. To harness postmodernism's transformative potential, Jameson emphasizes the need for a critique of capitalism and a commitment to social change. Critiques of Jameson's work. Jameson's analysis of postmodernism has garnered both acclaim and criticism. Advocates praise his synthesis of complex theoretical frameworks and their application to contemporary culture, which has influenced disciplines ranging from literary studies to cultural theory and political economy. Detractors, however, argue that Jameson's approach is overly deterministic, reducing cultural phenomena to mere reflections of economic structures. Others suggest that his emphasis on commodification overlooks the agency of artists and audiences to reinterpret and resist dominant ideologies. Conclusion. Fredric Jameson's Postmodernism, or the Cultural Logic of Late Capitalism, provides a compelling critique of the postmodern condition, linking cultural trends to the economic structures of late capitalism. Through his analysis of pastiche, commodification, and the waning of historicity, Jameson reveals how postmodern culture both mirrors and perpetuates the logic of capital. Simultaneously, his concepts of cognitive mapping and utopian possibilities underscore the potential for resistance and transformation. Jameson's work invites readers to critically examine the cultural artifacts of their time, understanding them as both historical products and sites of ideological struggle. As globalization and digital technologies continue to shape culture, Jameson's insights remain essential for deciphering postmodernism and imagining alternatives to the cultural logic of late capitalism.